And we're good. All right. First thing we gotta do, check Discord or check Steam. Yeah. What up, Charlie? How we doing? How we doing, dude? Welcome in. How you been? How you been? How you been? I want to, bro. Oh, Backyard Baseball's an update. Okay. I just thought of something. Okay, so Charlie, the plan for today is we're gonna do. So we've been doing this game called I Know a Guy, right? We do it every day. Watch World Cup as well. So the plan is gonna do reacts, probably the whole day. Probably maybe like 3-4 hours reacts. Um, I maybe if we want, or maybe 2 hours of reacts and some gaming if we want to do some gaming, but maybe not. But also we should start doing another Minecraft challenge, like just a dumb Minecraft challenge. That might be fun to do. But yeah, how you doing, dude? Okay. Yeah, that's the plan, but we'll see. We'll see. I know I want to do reacts, but I'm just wait. We also gotta. We're waiting for schedule 1 to bring that update out. We also have these games. I don't know if we're gonna do this. I don't think we're gonna do any of these. Content Kings might be fun, but I'm not sure. Let's hop on YouTube. See what's around, see what's on. Chat, I low-key wanna do a day where we watch one of the unstable SMP videos, because I want to watch one of those bad. I mean, bro, I might have to rewatch some of them. All right. How if I hunts you at every level of crime? We've watched that already. Ooh, Fern post. Wait, hold on. Let's look at Fern. Why Africa hates McDonald's? Inside the dark world of poker cheating. Ooh, that could be good. That could be really good. How Israel kills journalists. The world's almost invincible leader. The dark web's deadliest drug. Insane story of Serbia's. We've watched it already. Chat, look, if you want to watch Inside the dark world of poker cheating. That could be comp. There's also a Visual Venture. Visual Venture is good. Classified CIA secrets. I think we start Fern. And we start Fern, chat. What do we think? Do we like this video? Inside the dark world of poker cheating? All right. Let's do this. Let's do this one. This one is good.
To the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code.
Maybe a little loud.
Base 44.
You're at a high-stakes private poker game in a $17 million New York
All right, chat. Sit back and watch today.
You meet all these cool guys. He says you should call him Floppy. This one is Hulk Hogan. And this guy looks just like NBA Hall of Famer
Ads are so boring nowadays.
Head coach
Facts.
Chauncey Billups. But for legal reasons, he isn't.
Chauncey
That's the whole
Billups.
reason you're here. To rub elbows with celebrities and tough guys. And make bank.
Chat's it too loud?
Tonight won't go as planned.
Want you to listen to the song? You'll be scared. What do you mean? You can't be scared of a song. Also, welcome in Dagger. Yo, chat. Is the video too loud?
You're about to get royally screwed.
So this is about people who. It's about a time when, or the dark world of poker cheating. I don't know why I tried to explain it. There you go.
Star-studded underground poker games were held all
It was good.
over
Perfect.
the United States.
Underground.
Allegedly, they were rigged. The alleged cheating is said to have been so elaborate, so thorough, even professional poker players were duped. To figure out how all this supposedly worked, we went down some wild rabbit holes.
All it takes is one guy at the table who's suddenly a mind reader. Every time he's got you beat, he calls, and every time you've got him beat, he folds.
In this video, we'll cover the 3 main methods, each more ingenious than the last.
All right,
They
chat.
think they're playing poker. You know you're not.
This is how a shadowy, elusive cheating ring with ties to the mob allegedly made millions rigging poker.
Nah, it's gonna be a good
games.
video. Let's see if I can watch. I look, you kind of want to watch this one because I don't know much about poker. I'll try and chime in when I can, but I think this will be more of like a
Much of our
watch, sit back and
reporting is
watch.
based on the claims of the United States Department of Justice, as outlined in their official documents. But the
Okay.
cases mentioned are ongoing.
Dude,
and
Fur
all
makes great
defendants are innocent
videos.
until proven guilty. Get a drink. Have a seat. It's time to play What? You need a refresher?
Gambling? Yeah, kind of gambling. No, yeah, it is.
Tonight we're playing Texas Hold'em.
Okay.
Right away, each player gets 2 cards of their own.
I know how to play Texas
No.
Hold'em.
These are your cards. Peek at them carefully so no one sees. You don't touch other people's. Okay. Your cards are a jack and a 10 of clubs.
Oh,
Promise.
okay.
Then everyone bets.
That's
For
a good.
now,
That's a
just toss
decent
in the
hand.
minimum.
Decent
In
hand.
this game, that's $100.
So chat. Oh, $100 minimum. Okay, so I'll explain what I can. There's a big bet and a small bet. The small bet has to bet. Like when the round starts, they have to already throw in $100, right? They already have to throw in $100, and then the big bet can either raise or stay at the small bet. And the small bet changes. So say I'm small bet, right? The next round, the person to the left or right of me, I forget which way it goes, probably the left. The person to the left of me will be small bet, but each person has to be a small bet except for the dealer. And the small bet has to always start the round betting the small bet, which the minimum in this table is 100. So say I was small bet, right? Before I even look at my cards, I have to throw in $100 or I just don't play the round. Oh, no. The small bet so basically you have to put in $100, then you could fold if you don't like your cards, but you already put in money to play, so you might as well just play it out, right? So I'll try and show you all the hands. So remember, we have a jack and a 10 of clubs, right? So these are the best hands. So royal flush is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or ace, king, queen, jack, 10, all in the same suit. Then straight flush is just the same suit. 4 of a kind, either 4 of the same suit or 4 of the kind is going to be the same number. You get the idea. So right now, a jack 10, same suit, is probably good. You'll see how it plays out. But yeah.
The next round is the flop. The dealer burns the top card and puts 3 cards on the board face up. These are
So right now we can maybe get a flush if we get 2 more clubs.
shared cards. Everyone combines them with their own to make a full 5-card hand. That
And then there'll be 2 more cards after.
king and queen could be great for you.
Oh yeah, the king. Oh yeah, wait. Jack 10, king, queen. He needs an ace
Next is the second betting round.
for a.
You can match the bet of
Forget.
the player before you. If you're feeling confident, you can raise it. If your hand just plain sucks, you can fold.
All right, I'll let y'all sit back
In
and
the
watch
next
for a bit.
round, the dealer adds a 4th card to the board. Then there's another betting round and one last card added. Finally, it's showdown time. The final betting round before it's time to show your cards. Then, the player with the strongest hand wins. In order from weakest to strongest, these are the hands in poker. High card. Like, I've got an ace. Meh. A pair. 2 of anything. The higher the better. 2 pair. Same idea, but twice. 3 of a kind. 3 is better than 2. Straight. 5 consecutive cards. For example, a queen high straight is 8, 9, 10, jack, queen. Flush. 5 cards of the same suit. 5 diamonds, 5 hearts, etc. Full house. 3 of a kind and a pair, like 3 sevens and 2 nines. 4 of a kind. 2 of a kind doubled. 4 eights, 4 kings, etc. Straight flush. A straight and a flush, like peanut butter and chocolate. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And they're all clubs. Royal flush. A flush with all of the fanciest cards. 10, jack, queen, king, ace, all of the same suit. Your jack and your 10 combine perfectly with the king, the queen, and the ace. That gives you a straight.
Oh
Nice
yeah,
hand.
straight.
But
All
no
right.
one lets you take advantage of it. Every time you try to raise, someone folds. So the pot stays pretty low. And you win, but
Not much.
It almost feels like they knew how good your hand was. But how?
I got a wire. Chat, off rip, I'm gonna say there might be a wire or like hidden cameras inside of the.
This
marked
is a marked
cards.
You can tell this is a 2 of spades, a 6 of hearts, an ace of clubs. The secret is these 2 parts of the card, this flower thingy and these triangles. For the 2 of spades, the flower's top petal is colored in. So is the bottom triangle. 6 of hearts, ace of clubs. This is just one example.
Wait, let me see.
For the 2 of spades, the
Are you gonna play Plaque Ink later in this video? What do you mean Plaque Ink?
flower's top
What do you mean? Am I gonna play? Is that a game or a video? What do you mean later in this video? Or is Plague Ink? Is that a type of
petal
game?
is colored in. So is the bottom triangle.
Oh, I see.
6 of hearts, ace of clubs. This is just one example. There are as many systems for this as there are playing card designs. You could dent your cards slightly, file down the sides, scuff them up good. But anyone at the table could notice these marks. In a high-stakes game like this, cheating needs to be more subtle, almost invisible.
Like a hidden
This might
camera
call for luminous work.
or a wire?
To see the marks on this card, you
I don't see anything.
need special glasses or contacts. You buy them from specialized
Oh,
dealers. This is old technology. Here's an ad for luminous cards in the 1927 KC Card Company catalog. Special glasses furnished free with first order. The company claimed to have invented the term luminous for this type of cheating. But according to gambling expert Jason England, the principle of cheating with hidden markings and special glasses goes all the way back to the Old West. England says that by 1929, this kind of cheating had gone mainstream.
I
KC Card
understand.
Company even got a little touchy about it.
Because that's the first one.
This work. No one else has the real thing. Beware of spurious imitations. Today, the tools of the trade are sold online. Sellers claim their contacts let you see ultraviolet marks on the cards, which is very sketchy internet card cheating merch of them, since scientifically that makes no sense. A normal person can't see ultraviolet markings. A typical human eye can perceive wavelengths of 700 to 380 nanometers. The ultraviolet spectrum is below 400 nanometers. In theory, you could perceive a little sliver of UV light at the end of the visible range, but the lens of your eye filters it out. The real explanation for the glasses and contacts is a lot simpler. And it turns out you can make your own luminous cards.
So what we do is we take a very, very light green ink, and then you paint it onto the back of a red playing card. The B67 is a great card to use for that.
Okay.
There's a line across the back of our card, which tells us it's a high card, but the faint green ink gets lost on the red card. And that's the idea.
Oh, I did see this. But like this is very visible, I feel like.
There's probably something about the human eye that makes it difficult to resolve those 2 colors under normal circumstances. So certainly if you
Yes.
painted the
Because like
green
look, chat.
There's a line
light green ink, and then you paint it onto the back of a red playing card. The B67 is a great card to
So it's not
use
there.
for that.
It's not there right
There's a
now.
line across the back of our card, which tells us it's a high card, but the faint green ink gets lost on the red card.
So the green and red are like opposites, right? So you see these like see how this is like lighter than these? Like this could also just make you could think like your mind is like making you see things, you know what I mean? Where you control and upgrade a disease type of Plague Inc. is a game where you control and upgrade a disease type of your choice. First of all, never heard of it. Second of all, don't have it. Third of all, how am I supposed to play this inside of a video? You said, are you going to play Plague Inc. later in the video? This is not my video.
And that's the idea.
There's probably something about the human eye that makes it difficult to resolve those 2 colors under normal circumstances. So certainly if you painted the green ink on very, very lightly, it would be difficult to see at all unless you
Your video. What video? I have never made a video about Plague Inc. I've never even heard of it. Also, it's the same thing with like orange and blue, for example, because they're polar opposites, so they make brown, right? So if you were to paint a very, very, very tiny sliver of blue on an orange card or vice versa, it would just turn brown, which makes it a dark spot. So you'd probably think that your eyes are just like playing tricks on you. You know what I mean?
Use that red filter to help
Or like
distinguish between
pink
the
and
two
yellow,
marks.
for
The
example.
glasses and
Could be another
contacts
one.
are tinted red. When you put them on, they act as a filter, allowing red light through but blocking other colors.
You know, that might work for me. So, because I see colors differently, like very, very, very slightly, right? Because I have contacts, right? But one is red and one is yellow. So my right eye, because it's a red contact, sees colors a little bit darker than my left one, because red's darker. So this might like, if we did this with me and I tested it, it might work.
All the white parts turn red, with the green
But it's not like this. Like I see clear. It's not like a full red outline. So maybe
muddy
not.
gray.
A new era of American shipbuilding is here.
What's the secret to maximizing your footy matches?
Don't
How?
care.
Let me show you. When I'm watching a game, I want to feel like I'm
Well, it turns out that everything that passes through a dark red filter, like this one, is going to try to
Okay.
turn some shade of red. And if this red filter can't resolve whatever color you start with into a shade that we would recognize as red, it's going to do the best it can. And what that means is that a lot of colors pass through and just wind up on this side of the filter as sort of just an ugly, muddled shade of gray.
According to England,
Makes
you could
sense.
probably make this work with other colors. Some older glasses are
I don't
tinted
care
blue.
about ads, me
There
neither.
were even rumors
After
of
you're done
modern
watching,
versions without
listen
any perceptible tint at
to
all.
Leo Foros Alexander's Plague Inc. Can wait until a different stream. Okay.
And you can buy pre-marked cards, which look even fancier, something like this. Either way, if someone is wearing the right lenses, everyone's cards are an open, slightly psychedelic-looking book. That guy's eyes look a little red. Are the cards marked? If that's what's going on, there's no way you can win. Because in poker, the only thing more important than having the best hand is knowing whether or not you do. The game just started, and it's already way sketchier than playing poker in a casino. Which raises the question, why would you come to a private poker game anyway?
That's fairs. Why would you?
Well, you can make a lot of money at these games, but basically, it's lunchtime and you want to sit with the cool kids. Like this guy. No, he's not Chauncey Billups. You need to let that go. But he is a famous athlete, and he's the whale. Whales are
whale.
brought into private card games to attract fish like you. People who want the thrill of rubbing up against a little bit of stardom while feeling a little bit naughty, too. And who knows, maybe this incredibly famous person will really like you, right? The thing is,
No.
everyone knows that's why you're here. They were counting on it. In fact, they saw you coming a mile away. It wasn't that hard. Cheaters actually took your money half a dozen times on the way to this game. Remember those chips you bought from the bodega? Count your change, dummy. How about the meter in the cab? Oh, and that SIM card you bought at the airport. You didn't read the fine print, did you? And you thought you were so cool buying a burner. Well, there's a rake there, too. You know, the cut the house
Oh, this is an ad,
scams
probably.
just for letting you play.
This might
In
be an
this
ad.
case, it's roaming charges.
Yep.
Check it out. No air
Told you.
NBA and La Casa.
Sniffed it a mile
Good
away.
morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra.
On October 23, 2025, FBI Director Kash Patel announces that more than 30 people have been arrested for participating in what he calls a mind-boggling fraud operation. The
Mind-boggling
operation is
fraud
supposedly
operation.
linked to La Cosa Nostra, the mafia, which, for some reason, the director of the FBI...
Number one, I don't like the underground poker games. That wouldn't be illegal because it's just like it's not like held in a casino. It's a private like house.
keeps calling
La Casa Nostra, La Casa Nostra, and La Casa Nostra.
La Cosa Nostra.
the first part of the scheme allegedly involved sports betting fraud by NBA players.
Oh,
The FBI's
insider trading?
investigation into it is really, actually, not a joke, called
Operation Nothing But Bet.
The second part, Operation Royal Flush, concerns allegedly rigged poker games held all across the United States
Nothing
since
but
2019.
bet. That's absurd.
According to the government,
No,
these games
wait.
cheated people out of at least $7.15 million. This is Doug Polk. He's a professional poker player and a YouTuber. He
Okay.
thinks that number may be too low.
I would estimate the number is
doing,
dramatically
Shooter?
higher than what we know, because oftentimes in these poker games, people will settle in cash, they'll settle in crypto, they'll settle in all these different
Operation
ways.
Nothing But
I would
Bet.
not be surprised for this to easily be in the 9-figure range. You know, I know a few guys alone that get into the 8-figure range, so I have to imagine that there are a lot of people involved here to get that number much, much higher.
Victims' identities haven't been officially disclosed.
John Doe, John 2, John
Professional
Doe
poker
3.
players are easy targets because they want to play poker. They're looking for these spots to make money. While there certainly were a number of poker professionals that lost big in these games, I wouldn't say that it was just poker pros. I would say that it was there were people from all types of different areas of the industry.
In the poker world, these games seem to have gotten a little bit of a reputation. Way back in May 2023, pro poker player Matt Berkey spilled a little tea.
There was this game, it started in LA and then it came to Vegas for a few days.
Wait, this is
built around
interesting.
Chauncey
This is
Billups.
interesting.
I had heard about the game, and the person who told me about it was like, look, I know the game runners. I'm telling you 100% this game is on the up and up. And I was like, well, I know a lot of the people that are involved, and I'm telling you 100% that it is
not.
not on the up and up.
Yeah.
And it obviously was for sure confirmed to be cheated.
The indictment says Billups and former NBA player Damon Jones were the
Okay, so, dude, this is weird. Like, I don't even know what to say. So it's based on NBA players that had underground, or that had like connections with the mafia or with some sort of illegal gang, right? And they just host underground games and try to get professional poker players to play like these games that they've never heard of that are not upcoming.
these games face cards. In the wider poker world, they're called whales. Honestly, talking about this case, the authorities throw lingo around like they're auditioning for an
And they-
80s cop movie.
My message to the defendants who've been rounded up today is this. Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet on that.
Every time you rip a slab pack.
Yeah, bro, they gotta stop talking, bro. All right, Chad, do we buy a bunch of these just to get off the screen? No, I'm joking.
The Department of Justice says it's proof
Yeah, bro, they gotta stop. Yo, they gotta stop talking. Nothing But Bet. That's gotta be the worst code name ever. I feel like that's very clear what it could be.
includes financial records, witness testimony, and surveillance photos. Plus text messages, audio and video recordings, and photos taken from defendants' phones and iCloud accounts. Notably, those of Shane Sugar Hannon and Robert Black Rob Stroud. One especially weird possible source of information has generated a lot of speculation online.
You better not. Can't hold me, baby. They can't hold me.
This is Gilbert Arenas,
Okay.
a former NBA player.
Okay.
He posted this on the day of his arrest, about 3 months before the FBI's big bust. Arenas was accused of renting out his mansion for illegal high-stakes poker games as far back as 2021.
But I don't understand how it's illegal. It's on private property. It's like if a bunch of friends about to play poker and then one of them cheated. It's not like how is this illegal? Unless it's like regulated.
Players were said to have
A Big Mac in there? You see, I'm the. Hey, listen. What's the? No, this is my lunch, man. I ain't get to eat it over there, man. I was talking too much. The show must go on. Listen, the Blazers was to go win anyway. The last thing they needed was their coach.
Later on, he says he was trolling.
Information.
That's insane.
What his story really shows is just how inherently murky the world of illegal gambling is.
Wait, so
There were so many different
How long
branches
ago
of
was this?
right? Because it started off, as I understand it, with a
remember, there's
couple
three
different
types.
games.
There's three like different ways they did
Chauncey
this.
Billups was involved in some capacity early on, but the reality is that as it splintered, we saw all these little subgroups, right? Like there was a Miami team, there was an LA team. I've heard something about the Israeli mafia in the LA one specifically. There was a New York branch. Even here in Texas, we had some people that were trying to run these games.
So the FBI may have busted a criminal conspiracy. Or maybe the arrests were just the tip of the iceberg.
Was it this large entity, or was it just someone that was a part of that entity, right? Was it just one guy who happened to also be in the mafia? Was it one guy that happened to also play in the NBA? You can't really know everybody that was involved.
At least 2 of the rigged games are said to have been in New York. According to the DOJ, there's something special about these games. Before they were rigged, they were just regular underground poker games. but they were allegedly run by associates of the Bonanno, Gambino.
I'm
and
saying one of them's
Genovese
gotta have
crime
like
families.
cameras.
Once they joined
Some
the
sort of hidden
cheating team,
camera.
the mob got a cut. In exchange, it handled protection and debt collection. One game
Oh.
was supposedly held here at 147 Lexington Avenue. The DOJ links this game to the Bonanno family. The other is said to have taken place here at 80 Washington Place. It was allegedly run by John Gallo and Amar Flappy Awauda on behalf of
Oh,
the Gambino
Flappy.
family. Plus, Matthew the Wrestler Dadino, who the indictment links to the Genovese family. The DOJ says in 2023, the games merged and both families took a cut. Ooh, thank goodness this entirely fictional game definitely isn't the one mentioned in the indictment. This guy is called Floppy, not Flappy.
Oh,
and this
I
is
understand.
Porky D, Hulk Hogan, Dragonfit,
The wrestler.
Casper, and Bolivian Chauncey. Their names might sound like the credits from Goodfellas, but they're a professional crew that has plenty of ways of taking your money.
I understand.
Marked cards are just the start.
Hidden cameras. Hidden cameras.
Actually,
Called it.
maybe this game isn't so bad.
He sees
It's
it.
hours later, and you seem to be on a winning streak. Turns out that one guy isn't wearing contacts. He just has pink eye or something. You're still down 60K.
Nah.
But your luck has obviously changed.
Nah.
Or has it? According to the FBI, cheating teams plan their strategy in real time using group chats. Their messages showed they knew exactly how to string fish along. All this time, they're in
They're just gonna let him win a few hands.
There could be a
then
camera
he's gonna stay.
inside this chip tray,
then
scanning
lose all
the
of his
cards
shit.
as they're dealt. It could be this thing. This isn't a phone. It's a poker analyzer. See that camera on the side? These have been around for a while. This one's from the early 2010s. Early versions were just decoys, but newer ones can actually make calls. These methods work by scanning marked
what?
decks with an invisible barcode printed on the side. And the DOJ claims the cheating teams in the rigged games
And they can just
use both.
scan what card it
And
is.
then there's the table you're sitting at. The DOJ says the rigged games used an X-ray table that could read cards face down on the table. It doesn't specify exactly what that means, but
Wow.
Jason England has an idea.
And it always gets reported as an X-ray table.
Dude, so they just have
It's
a
not.
bunch of
There's no
X-ray
X-rays
shit
involved.
that can just
It is something
scan the
called a light
cards.
table. It was invented in the early 1990s. And basically the way it works is if you have a strong enough light source, you can shine it right through a paper or plastic playing card. Of course, under normal circumstances, that would be so bright, it would be uncomfortable to look at. You'd be going like this the whole time. So you get a big glass table, you put a piece of felt over that table, and underneath the glass are hundreds of LEDs that are only shining in
From
the
the
UV
bottom.
spectrum. But you can't see it because it's not in the human spectrum. It's only in the UV spectrum. But a camera above the table
Can
can
see
that
UV
light,
spectrum.
and it can still see right through a normal playing card. That type of situation plays like marked cards, but there's actually nothing on the cards. The table's doing all the work.
If he's right, every time you lay your cards down, the cameras are picking up exactly what you're holding. And an off-site member of the cheating team is taking a good look.
Whoa.
Dude, this is interesting. Okay, so
Guys.
so it's not like a hidden. It's a hidden
This is
camera,
the
but more just like the table by
He
itself.
sends the info to a member of the team sitting right here at the table, the quarterback. This could happen in a number of ways. If they're going old school, they could use a thumper. Concealed somewhere in the cheater's body, it relays information through a series of thumps telling them what to do. It's essentially a private Morse code. Maybe long thumps indicate suit and short indicate the card. Then 2 long thumps followed by 4 short ones could mean 4 of hearts.
I see.
The quarterback doesn't necessarily need that much detail. Maybe 1 thump means the fish has a weak hand. String him along. 2 thumps means he has a strong hand. Minimize how much he wins. Online, you can find all kinds of devices claiming to be modern updates on the thumper, but why not just keep it simple? Believe it or not, it's generally considered okay to use your phone at the poker table.
Really?
Generally speaking, the reason phones are allowed is that you want people to be able to play
Yeah, what up?
casually. and
Today I
enjoy
found
the
out
game.
you can
If
get
don't have a
120
phone
grams
and
of protein
you
for
fold,
$6
now you just have to
3
sit
mid
there.
protein
So,
shakes, and 3
I think it's more of a
rancid
time killer
bars.
for a lot of
Okay.
players. Some players out of necessity.
Why would you
Some
do
people are just gonna
that?
say, oh, if I can't be on my phone, I'm not going to play.
Using it during a hand is a no-no, but once you fold, it's fine. That's how alleged
So
cheaters
we're
get
watching a
text
game about
strategy in real time.
poker or
If
the
there's a
dark
quarterback at this
the dark
table,
world
it's
of
gotta be
cheating
this guy?
cheating and poker.
If so,
Easy
there are plenty
protein.
of ways he could get all
Not
the
when you don't
info
want
he
to.
needs.
Not when you don't want to
Maybe
eat it,
his
bro.
phone acts like a thumper. 1 buzz means you've got a good hand, 2 buzzes means you're weak. or he's checking his messages between hands and whenever he folds. Either way, he's using the info to direct the play
Bars
of
were
everyone else at
ass.
the table.
Most protein
There are
bars are
plenty of
ass. I
ways
like
to do
the
this.
the
Back in
Gatorade protein bars. Those are
2024,
good.
John South Mazzola allegedly texted this little cheat sheet to the members of his team for a rigged game in Miami. This means if Mikey Renzulli has the best hand, the quarterback will touch a $1,000 poker chip. If it's G, that's Nelson's Spanish G Alvarez,
Okay.
the quarterback will tap
Chin.
his chin. If it's the quarterback himself, he'll tap his wrist or arm. If he's touching his black chips, that means to fold. The fish has the best hand. But back to your oddly similar, but not in a legal sense, game. Damn it. So much for your hot streak. You check under the table. It seems normal. So does the chip tray, no camera there. All the phones are just phones. But you're sure they're screwing you over somehow.
Rig shuffler. They know the
Final and
cards.
maybe most elaborate cheating method starts before the cards have even been dealt. This is the Deckmate 2, a popular card shuffler a lot of casinos use. A lot of other people use it too. The Department of Justice says it found this picture of a disassembled
Deck
Deckmate
shuffler.
with Shane
Yeah, you know
Sugar
what's
Hennon's icon.
insane? So I told a lot of stories about my high school math class, right? My senior year, the statistics one. So apparently, the teacher's dad could count cards. That shit always is like how do you even find out you could count cards? Do y'all know what counting cards is? I can explain it if you don't.
Cloud account. Inside are more than 20 different shelves. To shuffle a deck, the Deckmate 2 generates random numbers
know?
and puts cards in the corresponding
Yeah.
shelves. For example, the
And
card on the top of the deck.
So she was my statistics teacher. Makes sense, right? So if y'all don't know what it is, basically counting cards isn't knowing what card is played next. It's knowing what card it probably is based off like probability and statistics. Like just knowing like four fours are already played, 3 8s already played, 10 or 2 queens already played. So statistically, it's probably a number card. You know what I mean? So that's how like it works. Makes sense. She's a statistics teacher now, but she's already around. It's like cool. Dude, if you could count cards, dude, imagine if you like found out like 10 years old you could count cards. You learn how to play poker, and then you should have friendly games with your friends. Dude, you screw them over.
Deck might go to shelf 12, with the next one going to shelf 3.
Never go to a casino a day in your life.
The whole deck gets shuffled in this random order. According to the manufacturer, Light & Wonder, the whole thing takes just over 20 seconds. And the Deckmate 2 also has this little camera inside, so it can identify every card that passes through. The idea is that it can detect whether there are any irregularities in the deck, if certain cards are either missing or doubled up. And since it can identify cards, it can shuffle them in a specific order too. Say, if you want the deck neatly organized by card and suit. And it can potentially do a lot more than that, because the Deckmate 2 can be hacked. Security researcher and consultant Joseph Tartaro proved this at the annual security conference Black Hat USA back in 2023. 2 years later, he showed Wired how it's done. On the back of the Deckmate 2, there's a USB port and an Ethernet port.
Put a thumb
If you
drive,
can
maybe,
access these
or
ports,
through
you can hack the shuffler.
yeah.
The Deckmate 2's design
Put it
is
through
supposed
Wi-Fi.
to protect its code from being messed with. Every time the shuffler is started, the firmware creates a hash of its own code. This unique string of characters is like a snapshot of the state of the code at that moment. The firmware then checks that against a verification hash. If the code hasn't been messed with, the two should be the same. But Tartaro and his colleagues changed the verification hash, making it match their altered version of the code. Suddenly, the Deckmate 2 couldn't tell it had been interfered. Tartaro installed the altered code with a Raspberry Pi. It also connected the shuffler to his phone. by
Raspberry
Bluetooth.
Pi.
Then every time a deck got shuffled, the Deckmate 2 sent him the exact order. But at the start of a poker hand, the deck gets cut, changing the order in a random way. Tartaro found a way around that too. The app he created just needs to know the cards at one specific position at the table. Seat 2, seat 4, the flop, whatever. Let's say the player at seat 3 has a 2 of clubs and a king of hearts. With just
Okay.
that, the app can figure out the deck's new order. It tells the cheater what everyone's cards are and who will win the hand. To use the app, Tartaro and Wired cooked up a system. Tartaro would fold so he could pull out his phone.
Yo, what?
He'd
Yeah,
enter his
Intruder,
own
what up?
cards into the app.
Made a new vid.
Then he'd tell his
Congrats,
accomplice how
I
to
think.
play using hidden signals. The DOJ claims the rigged games used hacked shufflers, often Deckmates 1 and 2, to predict the best hand at the table, and that info went to the operator and then the quarterback. It doesn't say how exactly the shufflers were employed. But Tartaro and Wired tested their method in a regulated casino-like environment.
Okay.
In a home game? Come on. The possibilities are endless. If the dealer's a mechanic, that is, if he's crooked, he could be faking the cut. If the shuffler put the cards in a special order, the fake cut keeps it that way. Then there's no need for an app. The order of the cards determines who's going to win, and the operator knows this before the deck even pops out of the shuffler. Or maybe the dealer's straight, but this guy over here puts the flop into an app. The app figures everyone's hands. The operator sees it, calls the quarterback, hangs up. One buzz, the fish has a weak hand. The quarterback touches his nose, everyone gets the signal. Go in for the kill. At the end of the day, this is all hypothetical, but there's one thing we can be sure of.
Not hypothetical.
Great tip. Playing in a home game.
Dude, this is
And they're
interesting.
using an automatic shuffler. Be scared, because those things can be rigged, or they can transmit the order of the cards to be used to beat you. And there have been countless stories of that. That's probably been the number one form of cheating, has been using these shuffling machines to know which cards are coming out where.
Play War Thunder now. Join millions of players
I don't
across
care.
the globe in massive battles on.
You've got a pair of sixes and are trying to bluff your way through a hand to get back to even, but nobody's buying it. If the deck mate 2 is hacked, everyone knows exactly what you're up to. They slowly raise the pot, and pretty soon you're in over your head. And with that, you're toast. You've burned through a lot of money tonight. But at a game like this, there's no cash on the table. That's just asking for trouble, for the game to get robbed or raided. So you trade in your chips and stagger home to sleep it off. When you wake up that afternoon, you start justifying things. Something was weird about that game. It was definitely
War Thunder's boring.
Was it
Never,
the guy
I've
with
never
the
played
pink
it.
eye?
I never choose to.
Was there a camera over the table after all? Or was something up with that shuffler? It doesn't matter. You can feel something was wrong. Well, you know that old saying? If you don't know who the sucker in the room is, it's you? Everyone was in on it. Every single player at the table was part of a cheating team. You'll never know exactly how they did it this time, but they were there for one reason: to take your money. So you decide you're not going to pay. When you get a short text about the money you owe, you politely decline. The DOJ says the victims of the rigged games were sometimes instructed to transfer their debts to a specific person who would launder the money. The alleged cheaters would receive their earnings the same way. That's why most of the charges, like those for Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones, involve wire fraud. The DOJ's allegations suggest that payment was taken seriously. For instance, the DOJ says that in November 2022,
Yeah, 'cause they were just
an
connected to
individual
the
that calls
mob.
John Doe number 5 started getting text messages from someone named Zhen Hu. These messages were about a gambling debt, and they weren't friendly. Shortly after, things allegedly got physical. Later on, Zhen Hu and several others allegedly showed up at the Washington Place game. When they got John Doe number 5 to come outside, one of them assaulted him. The text messages aren't
Shit.
the only evidence the DOJ claims it recovered from Zhen Hu's phone. The detention letter also mentions a voice note that it claims Flappy
Flappy.
Awauda, the alleged organizer of the Washington Place game, left on June 18, 2022.
I'm not giving
John
nobody-
there.
Fern TV.
Okay. All right, Fern. All right, Fern. Love you. We're not watching that. W video. That was a great vid. No, so John Doe is just like a name for a person who doesn't want to give up their identity. So it's just like a random name. So John Doe could literally be anybody. It's not like an alter ego or like anything like that. It's just a name that you give somebody if you don't want to give out their identity. That was a great vid. Chat, what do we want to watch? Dude, chat, I want to do a day where we watch one of the old so if y'all know Unstable. If you watch Minecraft SMPs, Unstable. Dude, I want to do a day where we watch like one of the old ones, like Invis Mafia I'm talking about. Like one of these, like the 4 hour videos. But I feel it'd be a fun ass day. The song really quickly. What's it called? Theo for it. What the hell is it? If it's ass, we're not. If it's ass. Some of these I've already watched. Oh, I've watched all of them, but like going back to the old ones would just be fire because that was peak. For
In Hartford, we root for
All right, y'all. Let's see if this is good or not.
our team too. And with more than 25
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing that I do with every other song. If it's ass, we click off of it. I don't know how you could get scared from a song. It doesn't even make sense. What is this? Could Elle catch Epstein? Should we watch this? Could Elle catch Epstein? What do we think? Let's go down. See if there's anything. Oh, this is not good, bro. This is not good. I'm gonna do this. Nope, not the sleep timer. Playback speed. What vids do we react? Bro. But this is not scary at all. I'm very confused on why that was scary. Chat. Could Elle catch Epstein? What do we think? The kid who hacked America could be good. Generally, why do you treat me like some toddler? What are you talking about? Treat you like some toddler? You know, yeah, I know. Oh, I know about Elle. I don't know who Elle is, but I know about Elle. Death Note, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah. You know the Jinx clip? What do you think of that, Elle? Huh? This is my perfect victory. That's right. I win. I know that part. I know Elle's like some super human type shit, I believe. I thought it'd be funny just to watch though. Yo, Intruder, what do you mean treat you like some toddler? Some world-class detective? Ah, got it. Should we watch? I feel like we could watch that. Watch it? Okay.
It would take Elle a
Wait, yo, Intruder, let me know what you mean, bro. I'm confused. This could be good. How Bin Laden planned 9/11.
less than 5 minutes to solve the Epstein case, and that's me being generous. Let me break down exactly why, and more importantly, how. Spoiler alert, I'm also going to bring up Light Yagami, so you absolutely need to watch till the end of the video. First, we'll power scale Elle to understand the depth of his genius. You see, in the world of Death Note, the three greatest detectives on Earth, Elle, Geraldo Coyle, and Deneuve, are actually all the same person, and this man has been at the top of the global investigation scene since he was only 8 years old.
Okay.
Which is when he single-handedly prevented World War III. Now, the public record says he solved over 3,500 difficult cases, but the real number is significantly higher because of those alternate identities. To give you an idea of the scale he operates...
Okay, so Elle is basically just like... How long is the vid? 17:32, so probably like 20 minutes with like pauses and stuff. So basically, Elle is just like Sherlock Holmes on steroids and in modern times. That's what I'm getting out of that.
On Mello, one of his successors,
Would you be happy with 1024 terabytes of storage? Yeah, but ain't that shit gonna cost like $800?
If you want the one intelligence feat that's relevant here,
oh wait,
this.
Terabytes? Yeah, no, way more.
Beyond Birthday created a crossword puzzle so complex.
Who would ever need that much storage though?
Gave up on it, and even the elite FBI agent Naomi Misora thought it was designed to be impossible. Elle solved it instantly, and beyond.
Bro, I don't care. Oh, chat, I got Roblox working. We could do some Roblox days now. I found a fire-ass game called Snipers.
On Birthday is not a fraud. He is the primary antagonist of the Los Angeles BB murder.
About to tell you, I got Roblox working.
Genius enough to act as Elle's evil clone. When he tried convincing Naomi that he was actually Elle, he read a 376-page book in under 5 minutes and memorized every page perfectly.
Bro,
now,
what?
If he's pulling off feats like that, and
that's some that's some shit you gotta do for the bar.
Photographic memory looks like. So when I say Elle
chat, who's that?
The Epstein case in 5 minutes,
Who's that dude from that show?
And if anything,
like,
I'm
dude,
being
that was taking the bar
conservative.
test while
This
playing
man
poker.
processes
No, I'm
information
talking about.
faster than
I forgot.
entire
Oh, it's
government
from
investigative
Suits.
bureaus combined. He can monitor dozens of computer screens simultaneously and absorb every data point perfectly. And because he
Is L kinda
immediately
like that
understands
dude? The
every
dude from
data
Suits?
point,
Y'all
he
know who
can
I'm
weigh
talking about.
every
Y'all know who I'm
probability
talking
in
about.
real time and calculate precise percentages in his head. But here's where it gets tricky. I'm sure that you can already tell that superhuman genius alone isn't enough to solve
You're
the
like,
Epstein
ignore me? Who?
problem. You see, L is a detective.
Who is
yes,
they?
He's the top one detective, but he's limited
talking
in
about,
what
like,
he can
me,
do.
or
His
just, like,
whole thing
other
is
people in
narrowing down
general?
Suspects in closed systems. But how does that work with Epstein? The way Epstein operated has been well documented since.
Is that Trump? Does that look like a young Trump?
2005. The real problem
That's
was
gotta
never
be,
a
right?
lack of evidence. It was that too many people in power were either
Whoa, hold
compromised.
on.
Epstein operated has been well documented since at least 2005. The real problem was never a lack of evidence. It was
That looks like an older Jinxie, bro.
that too many people in power were either compromised or complicit. Having said that, let's see how this actually plays out. The year is 2005, March 2005 to be precise. A stepmother contacts the Palm Beach police because her 14-year-old stepdaughter came home with $300 in cash. When she asked the girl about it, she ended up explaining the entire recruitment pipeline. Basically, a classmate had approached her at school and offered her money to give an older man a massage. The classmate drove her to a pink mansion at
Bro,
358
what?
El Brillo Way. Once in, Epstein entered wearing nothing but a towel. And I'll spare you the details, but to make a long story short, she walked away with $300. Now at first,
Okay.
this looks like a case of a local rich pedo creep.
Something
Nothing
was
about
with
it
Epstein,
suggests
yeah, I
you're
know.
dealing with a man who has billion-dollar financial leverage, a global contract list, and 2 decades of cultivating relationships with presidents, royalty, and prosecutors. But by October 2005, Detective Rick Harry was interviewing victim after victim, and the pattern was identical every single time. Girls would get recruited by their friends. They'd be driven to
How?
the same mansion, asked to give a massage, but as you can expect, it would often escalate to God knows what, and then they'd get money. And here's the thing, once a girl was in, she was in. She'd be pressured to bring more girls, which is how the network just kept expanding, and
Oh.
Epstein was particular about them being young. So, okay, Rick Harry built his case methodically.
Okay.
He collected everything from property records proving Epstein owned the mansion, to flight logs showing travel between Palm Beach, New York, New Mexico, and Little St. James Island. in
Number
the
of
Caribbean.
flights.
Not to mention witness statements describing the same housekeeper, the same recruitment methods, the same cash payments. He
How about the
documented
Roblox
everything. By May
game?
2006,
It's a game
Detective
about
Joseph
the
Recarey
a
submitted
dangerous Roblox
comprehensive
version of
probable
Michael
cause
Jackson. You had to
affidavit the
collect
Palm
items
Beach
to help
County
survive.
State Attorney's Office. It was the culmination of an 11-month investigation and clearly had overwhelming evidence for direct charges. But rather
A
than filing
robot
charges
Michael
based on
Jackson.
Ricarey's
Let me guess, he
affidavit,
just
State
chases you
Attorney
around
Barry
going,
Pritchard
hee
took the
hee.
case
Every
to the
3
grand
seconds. That'd be
jury, and the
annoying as
grand
shit.
jury returned a
That'd be
very
so
limited
annoying.
indictment. And as we know,
We'll
it
go on
ultimately
Roblox a
led
different
to
day.
the
We'll do Roblox
controversial
day.
2008 non-prosecution agreement. Now, why am I bringing all this up? To show you just how much was known even back in 2005. Plus, for this scenario, we're going to assume L gets a chance to look at Ricarey's affidavit in May 2006.
Okay.
We know the Death Note anime came out in October 2006, right? Well,
Okay.
even though the manga came out much earlier, for this scenario,
The manga's the
let's just
book,
say
right?
that the main story of Death Note took place between 2006 and 2007. So this would be a few months before Light picks up the Death Note. And here is exactly how L solves it within 5 minutes. He goes through the affidavit and immediately, within minutes, he solves the case. And I don't mean the way Ricarey did. No, no, no. L goes much deeper. He connects the dots and realizes instantly that Epstein's ring is global. He sees that it implicates a stupid number of powerful people. We're talking billionaires, government officials, presidents, royalty, and more. Plus, L also figures out that Epstein is systematically collecting blackmail material on all of these powerful figures for a specific country that just popped up in
Israel.
everyone's head. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into specific names or the countries
That, however, the
involved, that
graphics are
keep
very
things
great and it's
straightforward
very
for the video,
addicting
but
and scary to
basically,
me.
L realized
Yeah, okay, Dagger. I think we have different definitions of scary. Because you said that song was scary. And first of all, how can you get scared by an instrumental? It wasn't even words, it was instrumental. I don't know how, and also I don't know how a Roblox game where Michael Jackson just screams hee hee every 3 seconds is scary. That'd be annoying as shit. We could
Surprise is
try
that
it though.
By 2006, Epstein had already been operating for decades. Most importantly, he understands that Epstein currently holds more institutional power and protection than even he does. The #1 detective in the world. Naturally, this also confirms that the Department of Justice and the FBI he works as part of are compromised. This is where it stops being
Dude, I don't understand.
You see, in Death Note, L commands Interpol, Japanese National Police, FBI liaisons, and the Kira Task Force. He has institutional authority, but that also means he needs the system to actually work with him. Now that same system is compromised and complicit, so if L plays by the rules, he'll get nowhere, which is why he has no choice but to take matters into his own hands. When the director of the FBI learns that L is looking into the files, L receives an invitation to Little St. James, the so-called Epstein Island. By this point, Epstein has owned this island for 7 years. All right, what now? L is invited. And if you think that's stupid, and you're wondering why on earth Epstein would invite a potential threat like L to his private island, you have to keep in mind who we're dealing with. This is the same guy who was revealing every bit of information about what he does over Gmail, while most of you out here are using VPNs just to pirate some anime and games. Yes, elites aren't exactly high IQ. So once Epstein learns that the FBI's top detective is finally onto him, his first instinct is to simply invite the guy over.
Yeah, no. Dude.
Damn you, Lohar. If I was
Look at the evidence. He didn't really try to hide it too
What the
much.
play is going to be, but he still goes ahead and accepts the invitation for 2 reasons. First, it's because even though he has a sense of morality and justice,
Good guys
his
always
primary
win.
motivation is the desire to win, and because of that, he simply can't bring himself to back away from a challenge like this. Second, it's because he can tell exactly why Epstein would invite him in the first place. Now, from the looks of it, it's Watari who makes the trip while carrying a laptop with L connected via voice chat. The second Watari steps off the helicopter, L starts cataloging everything. He notices right away that the staff to guest ratio is crazy. So there are dozens of employees just for a handful of visitors. He sees how every single sightline is controlled, how the security cameras monitor every guest, and how the entire environment is designed for observation and control. Epstein gives him the tour, and then eventually offers Watari a drink. He accepts a glass of water, and after observing the glass for a split second through the screen, he takes a sip. They sit on the terrace, and at this point, Epstein just goes ahead and comes right out with what he's doing. He explains how he has the most powerful people in the world on camera, everyone from presidents and royalty to prime ministers, bankers, and scientists. Epstein leans forward, and as L sees the void in his eyes, he reveals that what he and his backers are ultimately seeking is control. Then Epstein extends his hand toward the laptop and offers L a chance to become an equal partner. He wants to use L's brain to help him expand his network so that they can eventually gain control of the entire world together. L
But
remains
nah.
completely calm while he processes Epstein's specific phrasing and body language through the feed. He can tell that Epstein actually believes this, and that he truly wants to be the invisible hand moving civilization. He can also see that Epstein isn't afraid of him at all. If anything, Epstein is
Yo, how did
actually
Epstein get
excited by
rich?
him. Now, Epstein was clearly
So those of you who
expecting
know,
some kind
how
of
did he
big
get
response
rich?
here, but L stays completely quiet on the voice.
Was he
chat.
Nepo
Then
baby?
Watari walks back to the table, picks up a few wrapped chocolates, and puts them in his pocket. He just says, "I'll take some for the flight if you don't mind." And with that, he asks a staff member to tell their helicopter pilot that they're ready to leave. The moment is so absurd and so deliberately anticlimactic that Epstein doesn't even know how to respond. He expects a negotiation or a rejection, or maybe even an acceptance. But in all the decades he has operated, he had never experienced a complete dismissal like this. He thought that since L already knew the truth, he could just offer him a partnership, but this is how it went? Little did Epstein know that the reason L didn't respond at the end was because the voice chat was actually a recording. I mean, did I mention that the helicopter pilot is actually L himself? He wanted to physically observe the island with his own eyes, so he tagged along disguised as the pilot. All the while, his voice recording kept Epstein occupied. Next, as the helicopter takes off, L looks down at the compound, shrinking below him. Okay, what now? If the FBI director is already compromised, and if Epstein's influence extends across multiple countries, how is L going to defeat him? It's a problem, especially considering how the longer it takes, the more Epstein's influence is going to grow. Plus, you have to remember this is still 2006, which is well before what happened in 2008. L knows that he has to act
Gotta go,
right
I'll be
away,
back and
so he
forth.
decides
Alright.
to go all in on the
Dude,
affidavit.
this is
He
so,
realizes he has
like,
to crack
interesting.
everything Epstein has built to neutralize that influence, and that includes making the truth mainstream as early as possible. In our world, it's taken until basically this year for the general public, especially in Western countries, to get a clear idea of what was really going on. But L needs to get it out within 20 hours, not 20 years. He starts starts by looking into potential
did
journalists
take 20
who
years,
might
that's absurd.
already be on to Epstein. And while he's reading through the Miami Herald, he finds Julie K. Brown. She's already doing exactly what he needs. In reality, she's the one who eventually got the former police chief and lead detective to talk publicly about how the case was sabotaged. And her series, Perversion of Justice, was what explained how Epstein secured that lenient plea deal in 2008. Okay, so Elle seeks her out immediately and shares everything he has learned with her. Now, Elle knows that journalists can only do so much. They publish, people read, and then what? Some victims might come forward, but many would be either too afraid or too deep into the system to go public. After all, Epstein reportedly used the phrase, "Those who help him will be compensated, and those who hurt him will be dealt with," to intimidate witnesses into staying quiet. What Elle really needs is to create an irreversible cascade of information that makes the truth impossible to contain. He begins gathering as much data as possible to build a web that includes all the records of flights on the Lolita Express, financial donations,
this is like-
and public photos. He makes notes on
I
which
have no
individuals
knowledge
were
on
likely
this.
there for business, as in financial or political leverage, and which were there for pleasure. Then, for every compromised official like the FBI director, Elle identifies a clean counterpart or a political rival who would love nothing more than to see that person burn. This is obviously easier said than done, and Elle needs help from hundreds of people like Reverie and Julie K. Brown, but once he has enough solid information organized into a digital web, he prepares to make it public through multiple channels. And here's where Elle's genius really shows itself. He knows that if he just dumps everything at once, the story would become too big too fast, and it'll be easier for the general public to dismiss it as a conspiracy. Plus, mainstream news outlets would get too many shutdown calls from their powerful friends. So
Okay.
Elle does something counterintuitive. When he's ready to release it, he intentionally leaves out the names of the most powerful people. The initial release focuses entirely on Epstein's trafficking and blackmailing ring, how it operates, how long it had been running, and how girls were recruited at schools. The web mentions that powerful people were involved.
Dude. I don't care about it.
It has to, just to explain the scale, but it doesn't name them. Again, this is to simply make sure that the initial wave of coverage focuses on the crime itself, rather than the politics of naming names. The media runs with it. Within 20 hours, the story stops being a local scandal and becomes global, and that's when Elle makes his second move. He sends anonymous emails to the rivals of every compromised official he's identified, and he sends them the full web. He just gives them the truth and trusts that enough of them, for enough different reasons,
Dude, so
will
Elle's basically
act.
just like a
Some will
super
act because they have a
human
moral compass.
genius
Some will
that
act
can
because
just
they
like
see a massive political
figure shit out
advantage,
and has a
some will act simply
has a
because
like a
they're
photographic
terrified
memory.
of being implicated themselves. But even after that, Elle is just getting started. The next step is going directly after the names on Epstein's list. Elle anonymously sends a highly sanitized, encrypted message to a select few of the most powerful people on that list. Specifically, the ones he deduced were only there for business leverage. Since they were there for business, it's easier for them to talk their way out of the truly messed up stuff. So Elle's message to them is simple. Mr. Anonymous has all the blackmail material, and they have to cooperate now, or it's a declaration of war. This is how Elle creates absolute paranoia to fracture the network from the inside. As much as Elle wants to destroy the system, he also wants to win his personal game against Epstein. And to do that, he first has to make Epstein a liability that the system he built can no longer afford to protect. Now, remember how I mentioned that Elle is all three of the top 3 detectives in the world? That's not public information. To the public, the number 2 detective, Geraldo Coyle, and the number 3, Deneuve, are completely different people. It's a layer of anonymity that gives him 3 different lives to play with. Another thing to keep in mind is that the web Elle creates isn't omniscient. He doesn't have every single piece of evidence yet. He only has what he's seen or deduced. The real incriminating evidence only starts pouring in once the story becomes a global incident. Once every major news outlet
March
is on it,
7th.
the momentum moves faster than anyone can pay to make it stop. This is where Elle makes his move as Deneuve. He publicly announces that he was the one who leaked the web, and to protect himself, he reveals that he's created a dead man's switch. If he fails to check in once a day, a final unencrypted version of the entire Epstein network file will be automatically released to every major news outlet and law enforcement agency on the planet. He makes it clear to everyone who is complicit that killing him only makes it worse. And while this looks like
kinda
an
threatening
ultimatum,
them.
it's actually pure smokescreen to further crack the network. You see, Epstein knows Elle is behind this because everything started falling apart the moment Elle entered the chat. However, However, Epstein's acquaintances, the powerful men backing him, have a different
I don't think
idea.
Epstein would know
They're
because he
not
seems kind
going
of
to go
stupid.
down with him, especially when they realize they can simply launder their crimes through Epstein. And El knows exactly what they're thinking. In his room, he breaks down how Epstein's only utility to his backers was his ability to operate in the shadows. That utility is now gone. He's become a blindingly bright point of light in a scandal that threatens to engulf them all. And because of that, they won't protect him anymore. They'll make him the scapegoat and hope that his conviction calms the public outcry. And it works. Within a month of El getting involved, Epstein is convicted. And El doesn't stop there either. Over the next few
But he needed
months,
20
he
hours.
gradually releases
Or he had 20
information
hours.
about the other offenders one by one,
Not a
and
month.
keeps the entire network in a state of terminal paranoia. Naturally, once it becomes clear that Deneuve would keep leaking information, regardless of whether he is dead or alive, the hits start getting called in. Multiple contracts are put out on both El and Deneuve. This is where one of them seeks out the help of the world's second best detective, Geraldo Coyle. And of course, that is also El. To create a false sense of security, El uses his Geraldo Coyle persona to stage the deaths of both El and Deneuve. It creates a massive wave of public outrage. But the people who hired Coyle are satisfied. But they're wrong. As more arrests are made and the power shifts to the clean counterparts El identified earlier, the old guard begins to lose their grip. Still, many offenders remain untouched because, as a certain student in Japan would say, this world is rotten. And speaking of that student, this is where things peak. About half a year after El visited that island, Light Yagami picks up the Death Note. At this point, the Epstein list is public knowledge. It's the biggest story in the world. So after Light tests the notebook, he starts writing the names of every offender on that list. He strikes his classic pose, looks out over the city and says to himself, this world is rotten, and those who are making it rot deserve to die. Someone has to do it, so why not me? By the end of 2006, the Epstein
As long as this
was
is done.
neutralized. Heart attacks for those
In
who
30
were
seconds.
already on trial. Car accidents, overdoses, apparent suicides. One by one, the names on the list drop dead. Epstein's actual backers, the ones for whom he was doing the blackmailing, watch in frozen
I
terror as
understand, I
everything they've built
understand.
over decades now
Yeah.
dies for no
El
explainable
would've found him.
reason. Finally, from an unknown location, El watches the news as a reporter announces yet another unexplained heart attack of a high-profile figure. He reaches for a sugar cube as he tries to make sense of it. Someone is cleaning up Epstein's mess with a power that El doesn't understand. This leads us into a version of El versus Light
Light
that
Mag.
we've never
Oh.
seen before. Because this time,
El
El
doesn't
may
know Light
just
Yagami.
agree with Light, or should I say Kira's reasoning.
Imagine being
All
able
right,
to build an
that was a great
app
video. Wait,
just by thinking.
I know it's kind of dumb,
Meet
but
Base 44, a complete AI creation.
it was low key a good video. Rick's entire story explained. That could be fun. Shall we think Rick's entire story explained? Or teen uses hammer to be handsome? Dude, what is he posting? Your life has every CIA Black Ops rank? That could be cool. I beat hardcore at 1,000 speed on half a heart. Okay. Chat. What do you think about this? POV Tales? Let me see his channel.
Level 1.
I think we watched this guy before. This guy's good. That has every Delta Force rank. You're a detective investigating your own family. N? What's N? Your life has every Masada rank. Marine Raiders rank. SWAT. Navy SEALs. Your life has every rank on the FBI Most Wanted. We watched this. This is the one we watched 4 months ago. Please don't. I'm really exhausted. It tags everything I say. What are you talking about? And please don't tag it. What are you talking about? Oh, and he made the. That's fire. I want to go to POV Tales is good. What about what's another Let's just scroll on the homepage, see what pops up. Schedule 1 to update. Ooh. Horse found dark market. Let's see this real
Schedule
quick.
1 just dropped a new update for its 1-year anniversary, so let's break it.
It was a while ago. The $400 million game that exposed Sony's broken strategy. That could be good. Trust me, bro. Serial killers that are on the loose today. The worst disasters in history. Dead by Daylight should be dead by now. It should. All-time peak at 170. It should be dead. I don't know how it's not. Should we watch this? Let's see what this is.
American shipbuilding is here.
Oh.
Dead by Daylight, the iconic asymmetrical horror game, is 10 years old. It still costs money in an industry that went free to play a decade ago. Its community complains about it more or less professionally. It got flamed for an NFT scheme in 2021, and it has even outlived not one but two mainstream competitors that were.
I don't know
supposed to
how,
replace it.
bro. Dead by Daylight should be
It
dead.
should be dead by now, but after 10 years of the same
Still
gameplay
going.
loop, it's currently at its all-time peak. On a normal weekday in June of 2026, it's pulling somewhere between 80 and 120,000 concurrent
Damn.
players on Steam alone, before you count a console population.
It's like
that's
constantly
even
going up
bigger.
too.
Its all-time Steam peak of 170,000 concurrent players didn't happen at launch. It happened during the recent 10-year anniversary event. And heading into that event, Behavior's co-founder and CEO said that 2025 had been the most successful year in the game's history.
That's
with
insane.
over 6 million new players, and that revenue had grown more than 50% over the previous 12 months.
That's insane.
When I saw the stats, I started asking questions and needed to investigate. How does a paid, famously janky 10-year-old game post the best year of its life in 2026?
Especially a game that's like it's like it's not very it's very replayable, but not in the sense of like Minecraft where it's like, okay, every season new seed or every world is a different like experience. With Dead by Daylight, it's like everything is the same except for how you play it. So I don't know, after 10 years it could be very like repetitive.
Why did every single game...
It's kind of the same thing like Rocket League, but Rocket League is so mechanically skill based that it's like never boring. Whereas Dead by Daylight, like there's a skill gap. There is not a very high skill ceiling in Dead by Daylight.
game that tried to compete with it die, while the controversies that should have killed Dead by Daylight bounced off of it like nothing happened. And why in this
And most of the killers are so broken to the point where it's like people just don't want to play. So I don't understand, like, how is it still going strong?
same year it hit those numbers, did two of its most iconic in-game characters walk out the door.
They have Michael. They just started
today
doing
we're
Jason, I
going down the
believe.
rabbit hole of this wild game to find out. So let's press start.
Oh, he's bathroom. Be right
Here
back.
is the entire game. You load into a match as one of 4 survivors. 7 generators are scattered around the map, and your job is to repair any 5 of them, which mostly means holding a button and hitting an occasional skill check. Power 5 and the 2 exit gates light up. Open 1, walk out, you survive. Standing between you and that is one other player, the killer, whose job it is to find you and hang you on a meat hook for Nancy Pelosi to feed on. Survivors can pull each other off of hooks, patch each other up, and throw down wooden pallets or vault through windows at the speed of Hector Salamanca to try to avoid the killer. The match ends when survivors escape or all of them are sacrificed. 10, maybe 15 minutes, and then it's over. That's it. That's the loop. A 7-year-old tablet kid could probably understand the objective in a single sentence, although those kids are kind of cooked, so maybe not. Fix machine, open door, run. There's no campaign and no real progression to the round itself, and structurally, it's the exact same match every single time. On the surface, it sounds like it would get old fast, but according to Gamelytic, the average playtime for a user is 106 hours, more than Ark Survival Evolved, Baldur's Gate 3, and Team Fortress 2. Crazy, right? I've owned this game for over 8 years, and while I still suck at it and get roasted all the time by the sweats who main it, I genuinely did not expect to enjoy it for this long.
It's something like
Especially in the
Phasmo.
early days before the game
Not
got
Phasmo's
fleshed
just
out
dog
with
shit,
all
though.
the new maps and killers. I thought it would be fun for a month, maybe, with friends, and then I'd never play it again. Because like all horror games,
like a
the
loop.
jump scares wear off, and while I was screaming like a little kid in the early days, eventually I fell into a monotonous rhythm of repairing generators and throwing powers
Yeah,
at killers.
I mean,
The maps
the-
started to make
the
sense
perks
to me,
make it
and the
more
mystery
interesting, I
vanished,
guess.
And by all reasonable measures, this is where the game should be less interesting for the average player. But again, it has now been 10 years, and Dead by Daylight is at its all-time peak, generating hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue for Behavior Interactive.
I don't understand.
Why
Like,
is that?
yeah, why?
Well, to give you that answer, I need to tell you about this game's origin because the path wasn't very straightforward.
Okay.
In the mid-2010s, Behavior Interactive was not the kind of studio that anyone expected to own the biggest horror game on the planet. They were a roughly 24-year-old Montreal work-for-hire shop that co-developed Fallout Shelter and churned out licensed mobile games,
Okay.
paying the bills by building other people's ideas. Dead by Daylight was their swing at something of their own.
oh.
They needed a
So they're just doing like
publisher, and they had
fan-created
Starbreeze.
games at first?
Yes, that's Starbreeze. The Payday company from my last video, deep in their post-Payday 2 spending
That's Siege.
spree, put
That is-
around $2 million into Dead by Daylight and published it at
That's not
launch on
Siege.
a 50-50 net split. Behavior's own internal forecast pegged the game at around 300,000 copies sold, a minor success that was more or less an experiment. The game launched on PC on June 14th, 2016, and made those forecasts look silly almost immediately. Over the next few years, it spread to nearly every platform that existed. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in
Yep.
2017, Switch in 2019, then
PS5.
Xbox Series in 2020, plus a mobile version and a Google Stadia release.
The $7
Google
meal deal
Stadia?
with
What the
2
hell is
Blizzard
Google
updates.
Stadia?
DQ. Happy tastes good.
You bought a vehicle built for America's toughest off-road terrain. FIFO isn't just your acronym, it's your...
That the game flat out outlived when Google shut Stadia down in 2023. By early 2018, the game had already sold over 3 million copies and pulled in more than $41
So they expected
million
300K?
in net sales. And then, this is where it gets painful. In March of 2018, Starbreeze was burning cash on Overkill's The Walking Dead, the bet that would eventually break the company. They needed
Wow.
money fast. So on March 21st, 2018, they sold the publishing rights to Dead by Daylight back to Behavior for a grand total of $16 million.
That's insane.
$4 million upfront and $12 million paid out in stages. Their own press release justifying the sale said, quote, "If the game follows the usual trend curve, sales revenue will decline in future years."
But it never did.
9 months after writing that line, Starbreeze was in financial reconstruction with its offices being raided by Swedish authorities, a saga that I covered in the Payday video, which you can find in the description. Meanwhile, the game they sold for $16 million went on to amass more than 70 million players.
It's now
set
worth,
new
like-
all-time concurrent records both 9 and 10 years after launch, and grow its revenue by more than 50% in its 10th year.
Dude, I don't understand.
Even the publisher expected this game to decline dramatically over time.
Like, even games like, I'm trying to think of anything related to that, and it could be like Phasma, like I said. It doesn't have the replayability of Minecraft or Rocket League, or it's like Splitgate kind of, but that's like a PvP shooter. It's like in its own like realm. It's a player interactive horror game. That's not like it's not a game that's set in stone. Like, this is how you're supposed to play it. Like a game like The Lightkeeper or Amenti, like a story game.
But probably to their
It's an open
dismay,
world
it
horror.
continued growing and it continued printing money for Behavior while Starbreeze fumbled with Payday 2 and 3. And you'd think that Starbreeze would know what they were talking about, right? I mean, most games don't last 10 years, especially ones with gameplay loops as simple and repetitive as Dead by Daylight. This is the first time that the game should have died, and it probably would have if Behavior hadn't stumbled onto a discovery that rewrote what this game even was.
I'm trying to
2 years
think
earlier,
what it
the
could,
first time that
like,
Michael
what they
Myers
could have
came
did.
into the
Oh,
game.
Michael Myers, okay.
In October of 2016, 4 months after launch, Behavior shipped a chapter called Halloween. For a few dollars, Michael Myers became a playable killer and Laurie Strode became a survivor. It was the first time that a licensed horror icon had stepped into the fog, and the reaction told Behavior everything they needed to know. People who had never
Then they
touched
went
Dead
on
by
to add
Daylight bought it
Chucky,
that
the
week for
Wraith.
one reason. to be chased by Michael Myers, one of the most famous horror movie mascots of all time. I say this from experience because that's when I bought the game.
When did I start
While
playing?
on the surface, this seems like a simple DLC release, it set the foundation for something much bigger. Something
Not really
that was
DLC
a
anymore.
major reason that Dead by Daylight continued to have success. And something that has the potential to be a major pain point for the future of the game, and if you stick around, I'll explain why. That DLC release changed the company's understanding of its own product. Dead by Daylight stopped being a horror game and became a venue. The simple, repetitive gameplay loop that's easy to learn but hard to master became the stage, the engine that makes 10 minutes of hide and seek feel alive. But the thing that sells tickets to the show, that drags a lapsed player back every few months,
Maybe
and the thing
Freddy?
that keeps the player count alive is who's doing the chasing. And starting with Michael Myers, the answer
Yeah, you
was
just play
always
differently based on who the
somebody
killer is. It's the only like
for 10
replayability
years,
about it.
Somebody big has always been headlining. Just look at the roster they've built. Leatherface, Freddy Krueger, Ghostface, Pyramid Head from Silent Hill, Nemesis and Albert Wesker from Resident Evil, the Xenomorph from Alien,
Welcome back.
Chucky, Dracula by way of
Chucky's so
Castlevania,
annoying to play
Springtrap
with.
from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Springtrap's
Over in
fun.
the truly deranged wing of the museum, we have Nicolas Cage playing himself, Alan Wake, and Vecna from Dungeons and Dragons. These are some of the most
Where's Alan Wake
recognizable
from?
faces in horror, and they all live in
So Alan
one
Wake was in Phasma as
ecosystem
well.
together for fans of horror to indulge in. And that's the first piece of this puzzle. The gameplay loop that seems shallow and repetitive on the surface is the reliable vessel for gamers to enjoy their favorite horror experience.
Oh, it's a game,
The
okay.
simplicity in the mechanics allows the strength of each character to shine, keeping players engaged into an experience that otherwise would have died by now. And this is what Starbreeze didn't see
Welcome back,
when
welcome
they
back.
sold the rights to Behavior
Was it eating?
at
All
a
good.
massive discount when they, even the original publishers, expected the game to die.
Chat, we're watching a video. It's
But
called Dead by Daylight Should Be Dead by Now. What up, Raquel? Check back for I Know a Guy. If you end up playing it, we'll probably end up playing it. I do want to do it a little bit. Chat, I might do this in one more video and then we'll play it for a bit. If you want me to.
After this new business model was established, a new era of Dead by Daylight had started. Behavior leaned all the way in, and the 5 years after Halloween are basically one long construction project. In 2017, they pulled in Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, then Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Not a
that
bad show.
Early
Chat, I made some
2018
mini
brought
roasted
Saw
potatoes and
Chapter
steak today.
Pig and that
Fire.
reverse bear trap that gave me nightmares. 2019 added Ghostface from Scream, and a few
Mhm.
months later, the one that broke a lot of brains, the Demogorgon and the Hawkins kids from Stranger Things.
I started playing,
2020
I
brought
think in
Pyramid Head
2018.
from Silent Hill, and
Do you support
Or whenever-
Israel
when did
and
it come
Jewish
to
people?
PS5?
Now, more than ever, Israel needs committed
Or
friends around
PS4?
2021
PS4.
opened with Nemesis from Resident Evil and Pinhead from Hellraiser. That is 8 movie-grade horror icons, give or take, in 5 years. And the gaps between those headliners were original characters like the Doctor, the Huntress, the Clown, the Spirit, the Legion, the Plague, the Oni, the Blight, and the Trickster. A steady drip of original
Came in
killers
two,
landing
yeah,
every
so I
couple
probably
of
started playing like
months, so the game
2018,
was never
Dead by
sitting
Daylight.
still. The Payday 2 DLC machine that I covered last time got called Relentless for less than this, and Behavior was cooking throughout this entire time period with Adderall-fueled movie.
Yeah, but
studio
Tokyo Ghoul FNAF
licensing
was
lawyers
like
bolted on top.
2023, 2024.
Crazy, impressive stuff. Somewhere in the middle of it, in 2019,
Oh, no,
they
that
added
was-
the
that
pieces
was
that helped players to stick. even when
25?
The novelty of these new
25.
characters wore off.
For their
A battle
tenure.
pass with a little story stapled to it called The Archives and the Rift. A new killer every few months for around $12, a store full of cosmetics that often cost more than the chapter they shipped with, and a seasonal pass quietly running underneath all of it.
Pretty recent?
So,
Yeah,
when
it's
the
like
Resident Evil chapter dropped in February 2021,
maybe
Dead by Daylight
January
hit
of
all-time
last year
concurrent
or of this
peak
year,
of 105,000
or December
players
of
on
this year,
Steam,
but technically last
a
year.
record that would then stand untouched for 4 straight years. 5 years after the publisher sold this thing off because they assumed it was dying, it was not dying. It was bigger than it had ever been, with the most stacked lineup of horror icons.
So to give you an
ever
idea,
crammed into a single
so
game.
the creators of this game, right? The creators of this game started off by making fan-made ideas that brought them games like Payday and stuff like that into real life just to pay the bills. Then they made Dead by Daylight as like their own way of like creativity. They expected to launch to sell 300,000 copies. And then they burned money in a different game. I forgot what game he said. Had to sell Dead by Daylight's rights to a different company. And then Now, 10 years later, they set their all-time record at 107,000 players active. But nobody knows how, because it doesn't really have the replayability of Minecraft. Because Dead by Daylight is a game where every game you do the same thing, it's the same thing over and over again. But the only thing that changes is the killer. But it's not like Rocket League where the mechanic like skill gap is so high that it's just nice to keep playing, keep growing as a player, right? It's not like a PvP shooter. It's a free roam horror game. But they sold 7 million copies, and they were expected to sell 300K.
Which is what makes the very next thing so hard to believe.
I don't know. Yo, Dagger, you know the rule, bro. No politics in chat, bro.
Does not own. Every icon
We're not doing
in the
politics.
Dead by Daylight building is being licensed from multi-billion-dollar companies that will pull the plug when they deem it necessary. And in the fall of 2021, sitting right at the top, Dead by Daylight faced the second obstacle that should have killed it. Now, Behavior's whole trick was taking something repetitive and making it feel like a game that you couldn't put down. Today's sponsor does that for your actual life. Feel Right is a free tool that gamifies your self.
Hold up, gotcha.
There's nothing that will your goal. You climb things like taking my vitamins and eating healthy.
I gotcha, don't worry.
Feel Right died for 20. Part of the story starts on October 18th, 2021. Behavior had just shipped the Hellraiser chapter, and Pinhead was one of the most requested killers in the game's history.
Bro, Chucky is so annoying to play.
Promoting a Masters of Horror NFT collection from a company called Boss Protocol, built on the in-game Pinhead model after the chapter had already gone on sale. Players who had just paid for a horror chapter discovered that it was now attached to a crypto cash grab, and some NFTs even dingled a
Chucky's the best. Yo, what up, Kenny? Bro, no, Chucky's so annoying to play in this game.
At the same time, which in my opinion is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen a successful game try to get their audience to spend money on. As you can probably assume, this debacle caused the community to detonate. The Hellraiser DLC was review bombed to mostly negative on Steam within days, and Behavior scrambled to distance itself, insisting that it had only granted model access to whoever held the Pinhead rights, that Boss Protocol made the NFT on its own, and that, quote, absolutely zero blockchain tech exists in Dead by Daylight, nor will it ever. But this comment didn't really help the situation.
I didn't know about the
because it was
NFTs.
kind of a half-truth. The tokens were made by an NFT company called Boss Protocol and sold by Park Avenue Entertainment.
I never understood NFTs. Like, why would you buy a virtual picture to put in a virtual house
the claim that Behavior doesn't
for thousands
sell
of
NFTs
dollars?
Was true. The catch is that the
Travis
studio's
Scott,
account had already
his YouTube account got hacked a while ago, and the hacker uploaded some
over several months,
the easy
adapting
kid.
its in-game models into NFTs.
Was
some them before Pinhead ever even launched.
And
that is not a company getting.
So I guess you said fun fact. So.
That's a company that spent months prepping its own Pinhead model to be sold as a crypto token.
Some song
and
got
signed
it.
off on it. Then waited until roughly 6 weeks after the chapter.
Bro, yes, to waste thousands. Bro, what is that NFT gonna do for you? Because who doesn't love to waste that? Okay, that's fair.
Literally anybody can build a fully working app
Shut
without
up.
knowing how to code.
NFT never actually held anyone's game hostage. Nothing in Dead by Daylight was locked behind it, and the only in-game tie-in was a
Money
small
laundering.
shot at a Steam key for the Hellraiser chapter, which you could
I don't think you
buy
money launder
outright
through
for
NFTs, buddy.
$2.
I guess you could through
So the real
Bitcoin.
damage was to trust, not to anyone's account. And the likely reason it happened at all points straight to the venue model that this whole video is about. Park Avenue was in the middle of losing the Hellraiser rights back to franchise creator Clive Barker.
You're using
so cashing
Aloha
the
Wave.
out
I use
NFTs on the way to the
Wave
exit
browser.
made a grim
I think
sort
that's
of
what you
sense
meant.
for them. This debacle was followed by another one exactly 30 days later. On November 17th, 2021, the Stranger Things chapter was pulled from sale entirely. Netflix decided to renew the license, and one of the most popular chapters
I
in the
remember
game's
that chapter.
history simply left. The Demogorgon,
That was a
Steve,
great
Nancy,
chapter.
all gone from the store. The entire Hawkins map was
Zero
ripped
ads on
out of the game
YT? Oh,
outright,
shit.
including for the people who had paid for it. Not only did this situation frustrate fans who had
Remember when
paid
we
for
spent our
the
parents'
Stranger
money
Things
on money on
DLC,
some
but it also
monkey
called into
FT?
question the
Who is
entire
we?
business model. If
Nobody
licensed
did that
content
but
you
you.
purchased could be removed because a company decided they didn't want to renew a contract, is it even worth buying those
Just
packs?
download it on
Should you buy
uBlock
something that
Origin.
developers can take away from you at a moment's notice?
Yes,
Conversations
we?
like
No,
this
not
spread
we.
rapidly
Nobody
across
did
the
that but
internet, and
you.
people were skeptical about the future of Dead by
Also, bro, I don't
Daylight
care, bro.
and the
Y'all be saying
sustainability
download
of
this, download that for
supporting
ads, bro. I don't
packs
care about
for
ads. I'll watch it for 5 seconds. It
and
doesn't
all of
matter
this
that
lands
much.
on a community that was already furious because just weeks earlier, Behavior had rolled out
an
skill-based
extension.
matchmaking across the whole game, a system that the player base hated so persistently that it remains the default community complaint to this day. November of 2021 was the second time that Dead by Daylight should have died.
The only time ads suck is when I'm mowing the lawn or at the gym. Chat, I'll be watching YouTube at the gym.
Everyone still hates to this day.
I've been listening to Queso Subnautica series. Just finished those 2 videos.
Didn't. In fact, there wasn't a player count crash at all. Pull up the SteamDB chart for late 2021 and look at it. There's a dip, sure, but then the line just continues, and within 2 years, the game would hit its all-time peak. I've made a ton of videos about dead or failed games, and the one thing I know for sure is that scandals are supposed to cost you players.
Chad, do you want me to run up some I know a guy after this, or after one more video?
History barely register. The answer isn't in Dead by Daylight's chart at all. It's in everyone else's. Because while Behavior was busy setting its own community on fire, every other game in this genre was busy dying. And
I want to do a backyard baseball episode tomorrow, I think.
Is the real reason that Dead by Daylight is
it's crazy YT doesn't even try to force ads, but Twitch pretty much has every ad blocker.
Because the graveyard is pretty sad. Friday the 13th, the game.
Bro, because you don't really make that much money off YouTube ads, and plus they have them so you could skip it, so like it doesn't really matter.
And it was a real phenomenon.
You watch a 5-second preview, and then you don't get ads.
And a devoted community that had wanted exactly this game for decades.
I will say YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium, when I got it for a month for free, amazing. It was great.
Screenwriter Victor Miller threw the entire license into legal limbo, and in 2018, barely a year after its launch, the developers announced that no new content could legally be made for the game. Friday the 13th died just about as fast as it appeared, and ironically, it died while people were
RIP F13th.
The content stopped.
Bro, the original F13th, the movie, holy horrible. Same with the first Halloween movie, holy horrible, the Freddy Krueger, but that shit was not scary. Apparently I had people fainting in the movie theaters, that shit was awful. The special effects were obviously like made after the movie.
Official content
like just added in
16 months later in September of 2023, and by 2025 the game had been delisted from storefronts entirely. VHS, an indie asymmetrical horror game with a sharp 80s aesthetic and a real buzz around its beta.
VHS's Video Horror Society.
Resident Evil Resistance, Capcom's own asymmetrical.
Looking forward to Peacock's Origins of Camp Crystal Lake. Never heard of it.
Drew little interest and quietly wound down.
Chat, bro, you know, I gotta watch the new Super Mario movie, the new Spider-Man movie, the Backrooms movie, and Marvel Doomsday when it comes out. Bro, the trailer looks fire.
Back to the game that started it all. And it didn't stop there. Next was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the most recent series challenger from Gun Interactive, the same studio behind Friday the 13th. It launched in August of 2023 to strong sales and real critical interest, and it was a chance for Gun Interactive to redeem themselves after the fail of Friday the 13th, and it had so much potential. But that promise quickly soured as the game.
I want to see what this guy has on his channel. This guy has good videos.
Gun began locking down powerful new characters behind steep $10 paywalls, which not only angered players, but also broke the game's
microtransactions.
This, combined with design exploits,
microtransactions suck. If you have like an item shop, that's fine, but like
the way the game was designed to be played led to antagonizingly long queue times and a rapidly declining player base. Instead of resolving these core issues, Gun destabilized the project by switching development teams mid-life cycle before abruptly pulling the plug on all future.
Because microtransactions just lead to pay to win.
2025. Claiming the game had reached its quote natural creative end, they effectively abandoned it in a highly flawed, buggy state. This enraged fans for good reason. This was the second time that many of them had trusted Gun with an asymmetrical horror game, and the second time that they lost access to something that they had paid real money for. Where did those angry players go? Dead by Daylight. And this is why the player count never declined, even with the controversies in November of 2021. At GDC 2026, Behavior got asked about the competition directly, and the answer was about as humble as you'd expect from the last game standing. The problem with the competitors, head of partnerships Matthew Cote joked, is that they're, quote, not good enough. Creative director Dave Richard added, "We were there first." They were half kidding, but buried in the joke is the real mechanism, and this is the single most important idea in the whole video. Every one of those deaths taught the people who own horror licenses a lesson. A standalone game built on an IP
Watch baseball all season long. Catch
A standalone game built off an IP
YouTube TV.
will never
Terms
succeed
apply.
because if they just buy the thing back, then it sucks.
Friday the 13th proved that a lawsuit can kill your game while people are still mid-match. Evil Dead and Texas Chainsaw Massacre showed that developers can easily drop the ball and sour your franchise. But a chapter inside Dead by Daylight is cheap to produce, it launches straight into an audience of tens of millions of players, and the game around it doesn't die when your franchise employers start
still has a
throwing
ton of
punches. This is why the
still has a ton of
licenses
players on
come to
Twitch, to be
behavior
honest.
now.
Does
These
it?
older games showed that they truly are the only ones who can bring licensed horror icons into a video game. And as the other
I've never
games
heard of the
flopped,
game.
Dead by
Or
Daylight
maybe I
became
have.
the only option, skyrocketing player counts and reinforcing this idea even further. Today you can find both Jason from Friday the 13th and Ash from Evil Dead in Dead by Daylight itself. If that doesn't explain the situation, then I don't know what will. But even with complete superiority in the space, Dead by Daylight is still at the mercy of the same rights holders that have complicated this entire story from day one. Because in the last year, a crack appeared in the wall, and it came from a direction that nobody was watching. The thing that makes Dead by Daylight the only safe home for horror IP also makes it a giant public advertisement for how much money those licenses can print. And in 2025 and 2026, some rights holders decided that they wanted that money for themselves. First, it was Hellraiser. On April 4th, 2025, the entire Pinhead chapter was pulled from sale, and the rights holder attempted to build a standalone game called Hellraiser Revival, which is set to come out later this year.
That's gonna
Then,
crash.
on January 19th, 2026, Michael Myers left Dead by Daylight. The Shape, Laurie Strode, the Haddonfield map, all of it pulled
came
from the
back,
store
though.
in the exact same way, because the Halloween rights holders are looking to make their own asymmetrical 4v1 horror game as
It came
well,
back, though.
a near clone of Dead by Daylight.
Plus, a
launching
near
September
clone of Dead by Daylight's not going to succeed. A near clone of Dead by Daylight where only Michael Myers the killer is not going to succeed. The reason Dead by Daylight is still popular is because every game is played differently solely because of how many killers are in the game. If you have the same killer every game, people will master that killer. And then they will just abuse it. And then they'll get bored of it. And then they'll stop playing and go back to Dead by Daylight because they want that variety. A Halloween game that's just a copy of Dead by Daylight will never succeed in any genre ever.
If these games are a success, they could challenge the Dead by Daylight business model in a way that the previous failures weren't able to accomplish. They could convince some of these other rights holders that a game of their own is far more lucrative than licensing your IP to a third party.
It's not, though. It is for a little
Interesting
bit.
risk, and we'll have to
You lose
wait
money
and see
then,
what
though.
happens. Do you think it's possible? Let me know in the comments. So, rights holders walking out to build their own games is the newest threat, and it's a real one. But notice something about every danger we've covered so far. The competitors, the controversies,
Let's
all of
see.
it came at Dead by Daylight from the outside. There's one player we have not put on trial yet, and it happens to be the one holding the most dangerous weapon of all, behavior itself. Because they've tried over and over to turn Dead by Daylight from a single game into a full franchise, and most of the time, it faceplants.
I
The casting
wouldn't.
of Frank Stone, a single-player narrative game set in the Dead by Daylight universe built by Supermassive, the studio behind Until Dawn, launched in September of 2024 and vanished so quietly that trade press that same month flatly called it unclear how well it performed.
I don't even
Project
know
T, a
that was a
co-op
thing.
shooter spin-off in the same universe, never even made it out the door. Behavior scrapped it and shut down Midwinter Entertainment, the studio they had bought specifically to build it. The NetGameon mobile version got pulled from app stores in January of 2025 and switched off entirely by March. That is 3 separate swings at growing the empire, and all 3
I wouldn't
whiffed.
change it.
Hooked on You, a Dead by Daylight dating sim where you romance
What?
4 of the killers on a tropical island, came out in August of 2022.
That will never
and was
work.
actually a genuine hit, sitting
What?
above 90% positive on Steam. It came straight
Some
out of a
gooner
fan
shit, bro.
survey where a dating sim was one of the most requested things that people wanted.
Some gooner
But
shit.
look at why it worked. It was a $10 joke that knew exactly what it
Oh,
was, and
okay, it's
buying
a
it
joke.
unlocked cosmetics back in the main game. It never once tried to become its own pillar. It was a
It
funnel
was a joke.
pointing
Okay,
back
never mind.
into
That makes me
main
feel better.
game. Same goes with Dead by Daylight the board game from Level 99, which has sold well enough to earn multiple expansions and a 10th anniversary edition, and the Titan Comics run that prints redeemable in-game cosmetic codes in every issue. The cheap stuff that feeds the main game thrives, while the expensive bets that try to stand on their own fall over. Nothing escapes Dead by Daylight's gravity, and the studio behind all of it has been wobbling in a way that the
If this
game
guy's a
never
game on
does.
video on Rocket
Roughly
League,
45
we're watching
layoffs
it.
in January of 2024, another 95 that June, about 7% of the company in a round that Behavior dressed up as a refocus on its quote, historical strengths. Then a third round in April of 2026, this time gutting the external development business, the work-for-hire arm that the entire company was originally built on. Ironically, the same 18 months that held all of these things also held the all-time concurrent record, 6 million new players and 50% revenue growth in
absurd.
Dead by Daylight. This same lopsidedness shows up in how Behavior goes
Dude,
looking
chat.
for its next hit.
Dead by Daylight
Not by building
is such a
one, but by
weird
buying
game.
one.
It can't be put in a category. It's like its own thing. Very fun game.
Dungeons Red Hook Studio in 2024 and the 7 Days to Die team at the Fun Pimps in 2026. Two proven survival franchises bolted on through acquisition instead of grown in-house. At this point, Behavior is not a games company with a hit, it's a hit with a games company attached to it. And when everything rides on one game like that, there's a standard industry-approved way to cash in on it that would have quietly killed the whole thing if acted on. That move is a sequel. In 10 years, there has never been a Dead by Daylight 2, and by the normal rules of this industry, that is bizarre. A hit this size is
Yeah,
supposed
but
to
like
spawn
you can't really make a
sequel
franchise
because
on
that's
this.
simply what big
That's like
franchises
Rocket League
do.
2 when that's supposed to
But
come
a
out.
sequel is also the most
Or like a
reliable way
Fortnite
to
2.
kill a live service
Or
game
Splitgate 2.
because
It's
it
like
splits the
it's
one
well
thing
Splitgate
that
did
Dead
come
by
out with 2,
Daylight
but it was
cannot
supposed to be
survive
that good.
without. A single crowded player base all funneling into the
The only
same
games that
audience.
can make like a good
Launch a
series
Dead
are
by
like
Daylight 2 and cut that population
sim
in
games
half
and
overnight.
or
Half the players
story-based
stay on the game they
games
already have
like Dark
thousands of
Souls
hours in,
or Fierce
half drift
Fathom.
to the new one, and suddenly neither version has the numbers to keep matches fast.
Any
or the
free roam
roster
horror
worth
game
buying.
won't really work
This
as a
is the
series.
third video in a series about games that refuse to die, and the other two make the point from the opposite direction. Payday 2 was nearly finished off by Payday 3, a sequel that split the audience and shipped with less than the game it replaced. Unturned is only still standing because Unturned 2 got shelved and a decade of updates went into the original instead. Dead by Daylight had every commercial incentive to walk down that same road, and if it had, this would be a video about how it died. Instead, Behavior funnels everything back.
This guy made such a bro. This was a
game.
great video.
Every rework, every experiment, like
The hell?
8, where 2 killers hunt down 8 survivors at once, ships into the same client that every current
2v8's
player already
insane.
owns, feeding a roster
feel like you would
already
never win
past
that.
40 killers. The most dangerous decision in the studio's history was the sequel it kept choosing not to make over and over for 10 years straight. And that's admirable. So the competitors are dead.
The ghoul is
controversy's
annoying as
bounced
well.
off, the licensors can leave, but the Dead by Daylight platform outlives them, and the one self-inflicted wound that could have ended all of it never happened. Which leaves Behavior with nothing left to do but to take a well-earned victory lap. And in the summer of 2026, they threw themselves one hell of a party.
Yep.
On June 14th, 2026, exactly 10 years after launch, Behavior packed the old port of Montreal for the biggest live event in the game's history. A sold-out day of panels and cosplay, capped by a full anniversary broadcast.
And a bunch
The
of like
metalcore band Ice
IRL.
Nine Kills, by the way, I
IRL
said that you
shit.
probably know that I don't know who that is, even showed up to debut an original Dead by Daylight song written for the night. And the game backed the party up with hard numbers. During the anniversary stretch, Dead by Daylight hit an all-time concurrent peak of roughly 170,000 concurrent players on Steam, the highest it has ever recorded a full decade after release. A live service game broke its own player record on its 10th birthday, while half the studios around it were writing layoff memos. And rather than just coast on the milestone, the broadcast actually laid out a year 11 slate that
Yep.
reads like a studio
To bring
that's just
in-
getting warmed
bring better
up.
graphics.
A chapter built around Art the Clown from the Terrifier films is due in November,
That's
revealed
cool.
when actor David Howard Thornton strolled on stage in full costume and makeup. Scooby-Doo is finally coming to the fog,
Scooby-Doo.
landing in a game that had already run an Attack on Titan crossover earlier that year, which tells you this game has outgrown horror itself. Underneath the new headliners, Behavior is rebuilding the decade-old game from the inside out, with a 2027 overhaul that
Great
touches
game.
nearly everything. Remade character models,
See, bro, if
real
Epic
facial
just
animation,
did
dynamic
what
weather, sandbox
Behavior
modding
did,
tools,
they'd be
and
set.
brand new
Like if Epic just brought back trading to
The
Rocket
10-year-old
League,
game
they'd
is
have
the one
so many
funding
more
every
players.
single one of these
Because a lot of
bets,
players
and
were
Behavior
literally
says that it's
literally
still
play the game
building for
just to
at least
open
another
cases and trade.
decade. 20 years of support for a game that should have died quite a few times by now. And then 2 days after the party, the celebration got its perfect ending. Jason walked into Dead by Daylight. In-game, they called him the Slasher, a careful dodge around the trademark, but everyone knows who's under the mask, and Dead by Daylight is now the only active online multiplayer game on the planet where you can play as Jason. Remember where this video started. Jason's own game was the single biggest casualty in this genre's graveyard, dead and delisted. 10 years later, the character it was built around walked straight into the game that outlived it and became its newest headliner. So let's summarize everything we've talked about here. Behavior's own publisher sold Dead by Daylight off for pocket change because it was certain the game would fade, and every metric since has proven that call catastrophically wrong. In a single month of 2021, an NFT scandal and a repossessed Stranger Things chapter put the entire pay-for-DLC model on trial, and the player count didn't even flinch. A steady line of well-funded competitors arrived to bury it, and every one of them died first, feeding their refugees straight back into the fog. The studio itself keeps stumbling, shedding staff, and watching its side projects flop, while the one game at the center only grows. Even now, the rights holders it was built on...
Dude, Chad, I'm just gonna play Dead by Daylight. We're not gonna though. I'm not going to either.
Any one of those things should have been the ending. Together, they should have buried this game 10 times over. Instead, Dead by Daylight is bigger than it's ever been, and every franchise that
Bro, please have a game on Splitgate. If they have a game on Splitgate or a video on Splitgate, that'd be fire.
And I find that impressive. So that's Dead by Daylight. Did you ever play
what a
this game
game.
in the early...
Or, I mean, what a video. What a video. Hold on. I see this guy's thing. The $500 million game that destroyed Ubisoft. Oh my god, what game is that? I feel like What happened to Rabbids? Chat, we have to watch that. What happened to Rabbids, bro? Why Spore died, why Crash Bandicoot died. So this guy just does a bunch of shit on dead games. Guys, Splitgate. Got, oh my god, multiverses. Why Minecraft Legends failed. Bro, every game, like Minecraft, Minecraft has a few other games besides like the main one. They all died. They're just not that good. This guy's just a bunch of videos on dead games. This is sick. Why Minecraft feels different now. That could be good. That could be a great video. Well, it feels different because it's not like the old graphics and like the very old like combat system or like all the new weapons. The Subnautica experience. Yo, chat, wait. I'm gonna add these to watch later. Because these could be really good. This guy's fire videos. What the hell? Why Subnautica is so awesome. Revisiting old Minecraft worlds in 2020. Okay, I'm not watching that. Oh, this guy did Minecraft videos before. How to play Minecraft as a complete noob. Okay, I think it's just... I don't think there's anything much after this. Fortnite has a major problem. Okay. Well, these might be fire. Robocast, chat. Remember that name. Remember the name Robocast. What do we want to do? We want to hop on a game, or do we want to stay on Reacts?
Dead by Daylight, the iconic asymmetrical horror game, is...
POV Tales could be good. How Rich is Granny? Gotta watch that. Spoke. Why did protagonist Spoke stop uploading? Bro, everybody stopped uploading and just Spoke. Elle cannot catch Epstein. Oh my god, there's a sequel from a different creator. No, Elle can't catch Epstein. There's a sequel. Comparing licensed killers to their source material. The cost of becoming Jinxie. That was a great video. The American Grab Game tier list. What's a grab game? I feel like I know, but I don't. Five Nights at Freddy's Theory you've never heard. The Unwritten Rules of Dead by Daylight. Gots to watch that. When I think you should decide. The Granny Phenomenon. What if 9/11 happened today? Find North Korea's files in Discord. The rise and fall of Andrew Tate's $1 billion empire. The OBJ Simpson case or Chase. Ooh. Execution's right about Kai Cenat. Gotta watch that. Why we can't cure cancer. But yeah, there's some good videos that we could react to. This could be good. Not watching that. 2 enemies fall in love in a video game. Okay. The Minecraft kid stole 100 billion crypto. Yep. How the FBI hunts you at every level of crime. We watched that. DVD's failed esports scene. Dare, the real reason cops taught you about drugs. That could be good. The one's out. The cure of becoming too successful. Oh, the curse of becoming. This lawsuit was funny as shit. Inside Hitler's final 48 hours. I think we watched that. Wait a second. Cicada 3301. The cicada is also from Subnautica 2 now. How Master Uwe lost his entire audience in 3 days. PV your corrupt judge. I mean, this isn't bad. I want to look through a little bit more. I 100% Subnautica hardest mod. It was painful. "30 tricks every Switch 1 player should know." This could be good. I beat Schedule 1 by only selling shrooms. That could be good. Add that. The worst collector's editions ever made. The Minecraft void is not infinite. What are you talking about? All right. BO2 on PS5 is cinema. I think that's it. No PC yet? No, I think we're gonna hop on it. I kind of want to hop on it for a bit. I don't know. Should I hop on it? Might have to. Kind of want to play something. Finish watching your feed so I know where you're at. Got it. Was it good? Did you enjoy? Also, that's not where I'm at. I have 2 videos in the chamber I gotta upload. Yeah, you get the idea now. All right. I think we're good. Let's hop on it. Well, I'm not watching anything. I was just scrolling through. No. So yesterday, I got back to where I am. That I didn't save yesterday, but I got back to where I am. Like I just did it on my own because it was only one day that I didn't save on. But I'm down to hop on it for a bit. We can do a little bit. But we'll do a majority of it tomorrow, probably. I'm like bro, I love this game. I really want Schedule 1 to come back, chat. Yo, what's it called? Raquel. I feel like you would like Schedule 1. So I want to see what happened. You don't like crap? No, here, look. I got back to where I was. Yeah, I just gotta make the thumbnails. One of them's gonna come out tonight, one's gonna come out tomorrow. You like it? I love Schedule 1. Look, see, we're back at 100K. We have a little bit more money than what we ended off with. Like, I ended off with 5963.03, so we got a few more cents, and then I had it like 2324 or something like that. So we got a little bit more Bitcoin too. So we actually ended off with more money. And remember when I had to order more sauce and more basil? I was like, where'd it go? Turns out the boxes in my inventory weren't empty boxes. Those were the boxes I was supposed to use to restock. So I just threw those out by accident. But yes. So we got a shit ton of pizza. We gotta order more shit. So 100K is 200 Bitcoin, chat. 100K is 200 Bitcoin. Chat, I kind of want to get these two and then get that, but let's get ingredients first. I want some pizza? Well, you're about to watch me make some pizza. Bro, I need the large containers. For 1600, those insane. Where's the mozzarella at? There we go. Plus 40. Plus 50. Right, basil. Okay, let's put these over there. Chat, should we do a count of how much pizza we have? Or should we just keep going 15 and 15? I want some. Now I gotta order some Pizza Hut type shit. Can you get me some? Chat, should we count how much we have, or should we just do 15 and 15? I think it's just easy to do 15 and 15. I don't know if we'll do a full chat. Do y'all want me to do a full episode today or nah? I gotta start recording. What up? Chat, we gotta do it. You gotta do the YouTube intro. Act like we haven't played yet. We'll save up real quick. We'll save real quick. Act like we haven't played yet. Everyone say hi to YouTube. Alright, buddy. We're back. And we're back to where we were last episode. YouTube side of things. Oh, wait. They didn't see it. So, hold up. Restart. Welcome back, everybody. Episode, I don't even know. We gotta pay 100K today. We need 200 Bitcoin. So we're probably just gonna be making a shit ton of pizzas, getting a bunch of money, and stacking up Bitcoin in the process. We gotta get a bunch of good rep, so that way we can just stack up on shady rep. So that's the plan for today. Sell a bunch of pizzas, make a bunch of pizzas, sell even more pizzas, stack up on Bitcoin, and don't get caught doing it. If y'all do enjoy, like, subscribe, comment down below what you want to see in the series. Let me know what other series games y'all want to see. Let's hop into it. You missed nothing? Facts. Those poor dough balls? What are you talking about? Those poor dough balls. Wait, what happened to that dough ball? I'm missing one. Where'd my dough ball go? Whatever. Wait, what? Oh. How do you work with the lights off? What do you mean? What do you mean, how do I work with the lights off, bro? You don't need the lights. I don't know if we should do a full episode today. Because we're gonna do a full one tomorrow. Probably. Sorry, we need to make more cheese than this anyway. Hi, Toby. I can see fine. The sunlight helps. But yeah. So I don't know if we'll do a full episode. Maybe we'll do like one day. If I do one day, I'm gonna want to do more. Chat, should we just make some pizzas and like when the day starts, we'll save and then save it for tomorrow? What do y'all want to do? I look, you missed the Minecraft world, chat. I want to hop back on that. Famous last words. I'm just gonna make some pizza. Yeah, chat. I probably shouldn't have done this. I'm gonna get addicted. We'll make like 20 cheese. Because I need more cheese, I think. Just one more day. Nah. I don't think we should, chat. This is about. How about we make these pizzas? That's it. We'll make these pizzas. It's the morning. Shit. Not good, it's the morning. I'm on my north payment or 9th. How much are you at? Chat, it's the morning. We can't be doing this. We gotta sell pizza, remember? No, we can't. Plus, I wanna see if I get my dough ball back. Bro, what happened to my dough? Chat, what happened to my dough? Like, I had it here. It just despawned. Losing a pizza because of it. Nah, chat, we can't. We're gonna get addicted. We gotta save it tomorrow. Maybe if you had the lights on. Yeah, bro, I'm sure that's what it is. Chat, what do y'all want to do? Do we want to hop on schedule 1 so y'all could see the world because y'all haven't seen it in a while? Or the save? That could be fire. Up to y'all. What do y'all want to do? Y'all want to see my schedule 1 save? I ain't seen that thing in a minute either. I'm just waiting for the update to come out. Minecraft could be good as well. What's the update here? I'll show you. So by the way, so you know how they do community votes for the updates? This community vote was posted in April. Oh, it was like April 16th or something like that. Right? So the community vote is on what to add into the game. It was either before I show y'all. It was either going to be police improvements, hireable drivers, so driver employees who can transport items between your properties, businesses, and dealers. That's who I That's who I voted for. But it was hireable drivers, police improvements, dynamic police intensity, federal agents, outlaw status, and heavier consequences when caught, or special customers. Special customers groups, bikers, hippies, businesses who periodically visit town and buy large quantities of product. I wanted hireable drivers because the worst thing about what I have to do is grocery shop, because I have to grocery shop for like 20 different items and then do backstock, so I have to do it twice and it sucks. I'd rather just have drivers who can grocery shop for me. Employees who can transport items between your properties, businesses, and dealers. Oh, never mind. I'd still have to grocery shop. Oh, never mind. Then hireable drivers is fine, but special customers is good though. And we got special customers. It says, thanks for voting. Special customers won this vote, receiving over 142,000 submissions. We're expecting this update to release in June/July. It's now July 20th. So I haven't gotten it. But this is the save. This is the save right here. We got Devil's Cheddar, Banana Express, Gold Ice, and Golden Nugget. This is how it works, right? So I'll show you how everything works. So we go over to the trap house, aka the bungalow, right? Hi, Toby. How are you, mister? We go over to the trap house, aka the bungalow. I range up to 6 Banana Express. Not going to take it right now, because I'm probably not going to play. But I'll show you what's going on with it. They haven't added anything new either. But basically, we go over to the bungalow. First thing on the list. Okay, sorry, Austin. And this is where all the meth gets produced. And then they put it in here. But then I also have... Oh, I don't have that storage anymore. Well, this one. Yeah, I have this. And this is where their shit goes. Okay? I was not getting paid now because I don't want any more shit to be made. Then... Because... I run I think it's a 20 ingredient mix to get the most amount of money possible. Because after 20 ingredients, you can do as many ingredients as you want, but there's no more price margin. Like, you can't get a higher price margin after 20 ingredients, right? So that's where all the meth goes. And then, so I will explain to you why I have it set up this way in a second. This is where all the weed is, and then it gets dried on all these. Gets put into these here. Each storage closet is connected to 2 of the dry racks. This is all the shit obviously not being paid because I have too much shit right now. I gotta sell it first. And then over at the barn is where all the shrooms and coke is produced. Right? And then we pick it all up. And it all gets sent up to my mansion, right? And basically what it does, the mansion is where I mix everything. So we have... I'll show y'all. Right, it all gets transported up here. I don't know why that's there. And then this is where the mixing ingredients are. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 ingredient mix. After that, there's no more price margins. Like, the price will go up, but also the cost of the mixes will go up, so you can't get a higher price margin. I don't know how much I profit, but I know it's a lot, right? So then the workers go like, okay, the first thing goes there, then there. This is here because the shrooms, the coke, and the meth, right? When you first smoke them, they don't have a base effect. So you get the effects from smoking it. But the weed, each strand of weed has a different effect, making it the only thing that has a base effect off rip. So you can't, they don't take the same ingredients. The coke, meth, and shrooms actually go over to here in order to get that base effect as the same thing as the weed, right? So the weed starts here, the coke, meth, and shrooms go from here over to here, and that's the same process. So that is why I have it set up like this. It's actually very efficient too. These are where the bags are, and they just go around in a circle. Then it gets put here, and then I just organize everything. But yeah, it's very efficient too. And then I deal to everybody inside of Uptown. I deal to everybody inside of Uptown except for Ray, because Ray's very stingy and doesn't buy from me, or he'll buy from me, but only if I give it to him at his price, and I upcharge by like a few $100, and he won't take it. So I stopped dealing to him, and then I have my dealers work with everybody else. And I like to troll the cops because they can't do anything to me. It's very fun. But yes, that's my save. I think we're gonna end it there. Tomorrow I want to do I Know a Guy, do Backyard Baseball, Fun Day Reacts. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Video tonight on I Know a Guy, episode 3. Tomorrow, episode 4. And I will see y'all tomorrow, alright? Have a great rest of your day.